Hello, welcome to Salt and Light Canning. I'm Jessica and this is my kitchen. I'm happy that you're here. Today we are making apple cider. Well, we're starting apple cider. I have lots of these little green apples from my family's tree and they're delicious and I'm very blessed to have them. But I have lots of applesauce and other things on the shelf. So today I am starting apple cider. And I mean by starting is I've cut my apples, like cleaned, washed, cut my apples, put them in these roasting pans. I've covered them with filtered water. I'm just going to top them off. And I've set my roaster at 225. I'm going to cover these and I'm going to let them sit and simmer and cook until at least tomorrow. And tomorrow we'll come back and I'll put it in jars. I'm making spiced cider, so it's going to be just delicious and perfect thing for the holidays. But just like broth, I need to let this simmer and cook for at least 24 hours so that all of the juice infuses into the water to make cider. So I'm going to cover these up and I will be back tomorrow and we'll finish up the cider. So I'm back. It's the next day. I've got a lot going on here, but it's really not going to take me very long. I'm just prepping some jars. I'm putting about just a couple tablespoons of sugar in each jar because I didn't sweeten my apple juice. Also, I'm putting about half a teaspoon of citric acid in each jar. That's just for me. You could do lemon juice, you could do whatever. Do what works for you. Some people I'm sure would use like apple cider vinegar or do what works for you. Citric acid works for me. And that's just going to help maintain the color and the integrity of my juice. And truthfully, I'm not even sure if I need it, but for my own peace of mind, I'm adding it. And I find it's just easier if I get a few jars ready before I start pouring in the juice. Okay, citric acid, and then I'm making spiced cider. And it's absolutely delicious. I'm thinking fall, so I'm going to add 1 allspice berry per jar. You can add any kind of seasonings you want. This is just personal preference for me. 1 cinnamon stick per jar. You can add more if you want. You can add less if you want. Completely up to you. Found 1 cinnamon stick is good for me. Also going to add 2 cloves per jar. You can add as many or as few as you want, or you can leave them out if you're not into cloves. I made 1 smaller jar already this year and my husband drank it and he said 2 cloves is too much in a smaller jar. But in the bigger jar, it's just fine. Find what works for you, what spices you like. What I am doing to filter my juice is I just have this strainer here. Let me move a little bit. I just have this strainer here, and I'm just ladling into this pitcher, and it's beautiful. 24 to 36 hours seems to be just about perfect for simmering the apples. At about 225, but you find what works for you. This is what works for me. Now I'm going to fill my jars to about 1 inch of headspace. Just beautiful. I'm not going to worry about debubbling or anything because it's liquid, so I'm not concerned. And I anticipate getting about 20 jars out of these 2 roasters, which is just amazing. And you could do lots of things with this cider too. If you wanted to, you could turn the juice into apple cider jelly. I'm just excited to have the spiced apple cider on the shelf. It's one of my husband's favorite things in the fall. So I'm excited to be able to do this from my own kitchen, from my family's trees. I'm going to keep filling jars. I'll be back when I'm doing something else. Well, my jars are full, and I think I need to wash another couple just to get the last little bit of juice done. So far I have 21 jars. Probably get like 2 more. I'm going to wipe the rims of my jars with vinegar because I just want to make sure to get them very, very clean. And then I have my lid, and I line it up just to finger tight. It's absolutely gorgeous. That is just beautiful apple cider. I'm going to finish putting my lids on, and then I will be putting them in my canner. I am water bathing these today. Such a blessing. I have always wanted to be able to can fruit products from like our family's trees or from fruit that I grew. And this year the Lord has just really, really blessed me. I've been gifted fruit, and then my family's trees really produced this year. So I just praise God for his abundance. He is so good to me. That's what he says, right? Life and life abundantly. Came to give you life and life abundantly. And I have an abundant life. I am so blessed, so very blessed, so thankful to the Lord. It was a blessing this last week. I got to go see my grandbaby, see my son. I am so thankful, so thankful. Children are such a blessing from the Lord. Then I get to come home and do canning, which I love. This just brings me to such a place of peace. God is so good to me. Anyways, I'm going to get my lids on, and I'll be back when I'm putting them in the canner. So my canner is full, and I have 7 quarts in here. I'm going to water bath can these for 15 minutes, and I'll be back when I'm taking them out of the canner. Well, my timer went off, and I turned everything off, and I've taken the lid off, and I've just been waiting for a couple of minutes. And now I'm going to take them out. So beautiful. So blessed to have this on my pantry shelf, and it's going to be delicious for the holidays. These are going to sit here on my counter and relax and seal and have a good night. And then tomorrow I will come in and I'll clean them off and take the rings off and label them and put them in the pantry. But anyways, be so blessed, so blessed. Know that you're loved and be a blessing to someone else. I'll see you in the next video.